Now, the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation marks what would have been the 93rd birthday of its founder and anti-apartheid struggle veteran, Ahmed Kathrada. In celebration of his legacy as a lifelong activist against racism, the foundation, together with Constitution Hill, is hosting a special exhibition in his honor. We take you now live to Constitution Hill in Johannesburg, where SABC News reporter Patricia Visagie is on standby to speak to us. Good day to you, Patricia. Thank you for your time on the program. Now, the exhibition opens today. What can we expect in the program?
Well, thank you so much. Definitely a very big day here at Constitutional Hill, perhaps befitting of honouring one of South Africa's freedom fighters, a man that played a pivotal role to help shape the way and pave the way to the country's constitutional democracy. And obviously, you know, as we celebrate his birthday, also his legacy that is cemented through, of course, what we see here, this exhibition. Just to give you some of the pictures here on the wall, as you can see, this nice, beautiful collage that's cementing, reflecting history, the life and times of Ahmed Kathrada, of course, the activism that he was part of, as I said, one of the freedom fighters who made sure that me and you are here today. And to tell us more about what we can expect, and also to give us more information about this profound, perhaps, piece of history that we are seeing being displayed here. I'm now joined by the Foundation's communications manager, Delani Majola. Thank you so much for joining us. This really is beautiful and history that's speaking volumes. Tell us more about it.
No, thank you so much, and thank you for that compliment. So this year is a project that has been long in the pipeline for the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, and today we are seeing it coming to life, coming to fruition, and being accessible to so many South Africans, as well as those from the international audience. So exactly here is the exhibition on the life of Ahmed Kathrada. It curates his entire activism, from his youth activism all the way to some of his political trials that he was part of as part of his contribution to South Africa's liberation struggle, right up until our constitutional democracy. But we do know that his activism did not stop there. It went on well up until his retirement from Parliament, up until his last days. So we have tried to capture this in this wonderful exhibition, which promotes our liberation history, as well as the people who helped build the man, and we would like to see his legacy being taken forward, and hopefully those who do visit this exhibition will draw inspiration to be able to take on the baton and take it forward.
Talking about drawing lessons from his legacy, when we take today's South Africa into consideration, the youth, obviously he started as a young fellow at the time when he joined the liberation struggle against apartheid. But years later, when we talk about today's youth, what does this mean? What can young South Africans learn from this?
Well, I believe there's a lot that young South Africans can draw from this, but we will also be hearing that firsthand from a group or a panel of young people whom we call legacy bearers, who will be reflecting on Kathrada's legacy and relevance of it in 2022 and beyond. Because we do know that, he has set the groundwork for us. I myself, being part of the Kathrada Foundation, am inspired by not only himself, but his generation of activists. And there is so much that needs to be done. There is so much that is currently being done, and we will see it through the exhibition. There's a showcase of the work that is currently being carried forward by the Kathrada Foundation, but in their own words as well. At today's event, young people will be speaking about the importance and relevance of Kathrada's legacy.
Right, thank you so much. And to add to the beautiful message that we've heard from Majola here, I'm joined by Derek Hanekom. He's the chairperson of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. He's also an ANC member. Thank you so much for joining us. I heard that you expressed your excitement earlier as you walked in here. Just share your words. What does this mean for you? You worked very closely with him when he was still with us. You know him on a personal level. When you see his life and times and the great work that he did and his political history being showcased here through this exhibition, how do you feel about it?
Well, words just want to flow. So I'm speaking after the younger voice, as an older voice. Let me start off by saying that we're talking about and commemorating the life of, and paying tribute to the life of, a most remarkable man, an extraordinary man. Not just a freedom fighter, but a legendary freedom fighter that had all the qualities one would like to see in a revolutionary leader, in a leader of society. Fits the bill so perfectly. And when I say that, I have to highlight a couple of things about Kathy. So, remarkable man, we all recognize that. But a man of great humility, huge kindness and generosity, just a kind individual, very approachable, very ordinary, interactive with ordinary people, loved interacting with ordinary people. At the same time, a man of huge courage, and that is just, all of it speaks to, all of this exhibition speaks to the kind of courage and commitment he had, deeply committed to a non-racial, non-sexist, democratic South Africa. Deeply committed, a huge sense of justice in the man from a very, very early age. But at the same time, as I say, humility was one of the things that he will always be remembered for. A man of huge humility, just straightforward, ordinary person. So for me personally, it's been a huge honor to have chaired the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, the foundation which is doing enormously important work. One thing that has often been said of Uncle Kathy, as many people refer to him as, is that he was not afraid to speak truth to power. He did so before the end of his life in critical times when one needed leadership. And I would say the foundation, which is taking up his legacy, is also unafraid to speak truth to power, saying things that might be unpopular with some people, but actually standing for the truth, standing for justice. So this place that you're showcasing today, so we've walked a long way in getting to where we are today. I am seeing it for the first time, and I can say this is an incredibly fitting tribute to such a remarkable man. The thing that maybe touches me most is the thing just over there, and that is the replica, real replica of the cell in which he spent more than 2 decades.
When you see this and you remember the man, the leader, the revolutionary, the freedom fighter, the activist, what's the one thing that perhaps echoes in your mind that you know he stood very firm for, and that was perhaps one of his biggest visions for South Africa?
Well, 2 things that I've already mentioned. I mean, so for him, the non-racial character of the ANC, which is a challenge as we speak, the non-racial character of the liberation movement was very important to him. But the commitment towards the creation of a society in which color of skin no longer defines who you are, what your opportunities are, a huge sense of justice. A person deeply committed to gender equality. So, we use the words non-sexist, etc. Well, deeply committed to the rights, to ensuring that the rights of women are properly and sustainably obtained. But just another angle. A man of great humor as well, by the way. So one thing he always boasted about, and Barbara Hogan is here today, he always boasted that he was the only person in the country, then Barbara Hogan was a minister, that had a minister as his personal chauffeur. And, that was Kathy. And
when we look at what's happening in South Africa currently, we've got so many challenges. The governing party, the ANC, is also coming under severe criticism for some of the perhaps not so popular or not so satisfying decisions that they have made, how they're governing. The issue of service delivery is a huge concern currently. When you look at what's happening, when you look at the triple challenges, unemployment, poverty, inequality, young people that seem to sometimes be forgotten when it comes to coming up with sustainable decisions in this country. When we look at his vision, when we look at his teachings and just his activism, would he be a happy man today in the state that South Africa finds itself?
Well, I suppose happy is a big word. Am I a happy man, or many others who have been with the ANC for a very long time? He would have been less than satisfied. He'd have been deeply concerned. I cannot see him having walked away from the ANC. He'd have said, this is a struggle that we have to fight. So I know it becomes a bit of a, the word renewal, but, can be just a catchphrase for many things. But he would be deeply committed to making this organization what it is meant to be, what it stood for, the organization that he joined, the organization that he spent so many years in jail for. But he didn't do it for the organization, he did it for the country. So he, as I would like to see the organization playing its rightful role in shaping society, in dealing with the very problems that you refer to. Massive youth unemployment, inequalities, the gender-based violence that we're seeing. There are so many challenges. And so for me, that is an ongoing struggle. I would not walk away from the ANC because I think change within the ANC is critically important in order for us to address these problems. That doesn't mean the role of the opposition is unimportant. What we want is an opposition that is equally committed to changing South Africa for the better, not playing opportunistic roles, but deeply committed to making South Africa a better place. And I would like to see an ANC that is big enough to work well with opposition parties that genuinely stand for something better, even if there are differences. So a big thing is going to be the December conference in the life of the ANC, emerging with a leadership that can give effect and meaning to the notion of an ANC committed to renewal, to performing much better, to governing better. So I think, the president is almost a given as the presidential candidate in December. That could be much debated, but I really believe that. The big question is going to be having a really good team to join the president, to be part of this change process that is necessary now, because we do need a change process. We need a different kind of organization that is dealing effectively and decisively with the very challenges that you mentioned.
All right. For ordinary South Africans, that's the political leg. When we talk about the ordinary men and women on the street, the grassroots majority, what's the one thing that you would say they perhaps have to uphold in order for them to honor the legacy of Uncle Kathy?
Well, again, I think the appeal to ordinary members and the kind of appeal that would have come from Walter and Albertina Sisulu and others is to, whoever you are in whichever corner you find yourself in, be a catalyst for change, be a change agent, do what you are able to do and do it well, live a life of integrity as the leaders did. So emanate the lives of these incredible leaders at every level, not just political leaders, but I think the biggest challenge falls on our shoulders. We've been elected to lead the country. We must lead it properly and with integrity and with honesty. So that does fall on our shoulders. And all those who have been elected, even from other parties in other provinces and municipalities, deal with these issues that worry ordinary people. Deal with issues of inequality. Deal with unemployment. Make the economy grow. Do the right things to make the economy grow. I know easier said than done, but those are the things that Comrade Kathy would have said. To say we can't even sleep well at night, knowing that there are people in our country who remain hungry, knowing that there are people in our country, many, who are without shelter. So many vulnerable people, knowing that people become every day the victims of crime, the victims of gender violence, that these are realities. Now, I'm not trying to paint a negative picture, but you are quite right. What we want is not just the elected leaders, but we want all of society to identify these as serious challenges and find ways in which they can most effectively participate in this change process and making our country truly a country that we can all be proud of and say, this is my country, this is where I want to live, and this is the country that I love.
Thank you so much there. Of course, Mr. Derek Hanekom, they're just sharing, his feelings and also reminding us what formidable, what a remarkable leader, activist, freedom fighter Mr. Kathrada was. Just again to show you what we are talking about, this beautiful exhibition here that, of course, showcases his life and times. There you can see those beautiful words there, revolutionary extraordinary activism, and there's really a lot we're showing you here as the camera, of course, swinging, just to give you a proper glimpse of what's happening. Of course, we are trying to show you as much as we can. It is a little bit of a tight space here, and we're just going to zoom into those beautiful words there as well. They're depicting, some of the lessons that he stood for, some of the values that he led by, and really strong words there against that wall. While we will not forget the brutality of apartheid, we will not want Robben Island to be a monument of our hardships and suffering. And there, of course, you can read on, and we're going to swing again just to show you some more to the other side of what's written, and of course, just to give you a nice view. There you see some of the treason trial pictures as well. You would know that he was part of the treason trialists who, of course, faced lengthy jail time just for fighting for equality, fighting for everybody's dignity. You can see it's really a beautiful collage that is embedded in this exhibition here at Constitutional Hill, reflecting the life and times of Ahmed Kathrada. Of course, the official program is about to start. We'll have to go to that. We'll bring you a little bit more updates as to what is unfolding here. You'll also get the opportunity to be part of the official program if you tune in to SABC 404.